Everybody, welcome to week 7. And it is our 8th episode of HBCU Game Day Saturday. Insert sponsor here. Hey, we're working on it, but we do it for the people all the time. Hey, it's get right time for your team, whether you like it or not. Some teams are virtually going to eliminate themselves this weekend. You never say it's done. You still have to play the game, but some teams have already hit the reset button. Central State this week replacing Bobby Rome as its head coach, and that really happened fast, but people want to win. They want to win now. So everything that you have riding on your team this weekend, your rabbit foot, your pig's foot, your anointing oil, bring it all out of the bag. You might need it. All right, let's start with our upset specials of the day. Games that I am watching that could take a left and raise a few eyebrows. The odds say that Prairie View won't win them all, Bethune-Cookman won't lose them all. Could we have a meeting of the odds today in Daytona Beach? Albany State rolling, but Benedict feeling confident after its late win over Miles last weekend. Benedict at home, so let's watch that one as well. And Lord have mercy, did someone wake up Texas Southern? Did they? I'm not saying that they're going to beat Grambling today, but I'm going to follow this one. Live stats, whatever I can find to see what Texas Southern is all about. Are they about that winning life? Let's see. All right, let's jump in today's SWAC schedule if we can. The homecoming train is rolling on, and like we said at the top of the show, some teams are probably out of it. But it will be for sure if some of these teams lose this weekend. We talked about Prairie View on the road. FAMU is at Alabama A&M. FAMU is going to need a win and some help if they want to get back in it. Alabama State could really shake things up with a win at Jackson State. Now, that's a big ask. That's a heavy lift there. It could happen. Southern at UAPB, Texas Southern at Grambling, and Alcorn State is at the 2 wins in a row, Mississippi Valley State. That could be an upset special as well. But look, I'm all about Valley. I'm not going to jinx them and put them on the upset watch. We'll just let that one play out, okay? All right, look at the SWAC standings out in the East. JSU is in control of their own destiny with those wins over FAMU and Alabama A&M. Alabama State not out of it, but if they lose to Jackson State today, then Tiger fans might start making those plans for Atlanta and the Celebration Bowl. Some of them probably already are. You know how JSU fans get down, but we still have to play it all out. In the West, it's looking like a race between Prairie View and Alcorn State at the moment. Now look at the end of the season for Alcorn State. I mean, I don't have it on the screen, but you know it. They end with Prairie View and Jackson State. So plenty of drama remains out west. First year out west for the Braves. Now, as far as today's game, expect to see a dominant defense by Jackson State and maybe even a dominant offense, right? TC Taylor started calling the plays and looked a lot different out there. So let's go back and see how it all looked as Wally Pitt. I was so excited to tell you about how he's about to bless us with this cinematic pleasure. Last weekend's homecoming at Alabama A&M. You my man, Wally. You know it.
Alabama A&M versus Jackson State was advertised as the HBCU Football Game of the Year.
Showtime and there's showtime every time we touch the field, man.
A dirty South homecoming showdown between the SWAC spring champs and Coach Prime's pack of 4- and 5-star dogs from Jackson State.
Good.
And Normal, Alabama had the George Jones Tailgate Plaza extra litty. The grills were smoking and the vibes at my first ever SWAC homecoming were precisely as advertised.
They ready to come up off here. We gonna get it right, baby. They ready to come up off here. You see that right here? Hey, they ready. He said, what's up? He said, what's up?
But once I got on the field, all that homecoming love turned into animosity. As the Tigers and Bulldogs let it be known that this game right here
Welcome to the hill. It's finna get real. It's finna get real.
was about to be all-out war.
This is a war. Right this now. Jackson on 3. 1, 2, 3.
And the sonic boom of the South plus the maroon and white band blessed us with the soundtrack for the second most attended game in Alabama A&M history. But once that thing got kicked off, what we thought would be a back and forth shootout between two of the SWAC's best turned into a showcase of how dominant the Coach Prime era Jackson State Tigers can really be. And I heard somebody in the parking lot after the game say that Jackson State turned the Alabama A&M homecoming into a homegoing. And the defense was out there setting the tone early, putting pause on the SWAC Spring Player of the Year Akil Glass every chance they got. James Houston in his bag early with a forced fumble recovery for a touchdown. And if you had any old tweets about Shedeur Sanders not being that dude, you needed to go scrub them Jones off the internet by halftime. Shedeur Sanders finding Josh Lanier wide booty butt naked open for 6 in the first quarter. Later in the second, Showtime Shedeur Sanders to Trevante Rucker, 37 yards, and it's 26-7 in the second quarter. And shout out to the boy Warren Newman. Coach Prime said he couldn't out-recruit him, and he came out the tunnel ready to make plays. Here he takes a lick on the 12-yard touchdown catch with seconds before halftime to put JSU up 33-7 at the break. And everything was put on pause for a special moment at the half as Alabama A&M and Omega Psi Phi honored their fallen brother Jelani Day. Rest in power to Mr. Day from everybody at HBCU Gameday. And while the bands did go back and forth at halftime, Jackson State went right back to showing the HBCU football world that they built this. Shedeur Sanders making plays in the air. Shedeur Sanders making plays on the ground. He takes this one 29 yards back to parlay at the Apartments, then messed around and hit the 93 Prime dance on us. 17-24 passing, 249 yards, 5 total touchdowns. Showtime Shedeur showed out in Alabama as the freshman phenom made sure that everyone put some respect on his and his Pop's name.
When you disrespect Pops, what you expect gonna happen? When you disrespect D-Man, the greatest ever, that's what's gonna happen.
And while Alabama A&M has to go back to the drawing board after a 2-game losing streak, Akil Glass did throw a couple of touchdown passes en route to a near 300-yard day. But it was a humble homecoming for the Bulldogs as they lose to Jackson State 61-15. Putting thee in prime position to control the SWAC East heading into the thick of conference play.
Yeah, man, y'all know what we do, man. Look at the score. I don't even gotta say nothing today, man. Look at the score. Y'all know what it is, man. Bitch, you want to head against you.
Man, great, good victory out here with the team. Came in to another team homecoming. Took they, all in all, good win. You know, we on to the next one, you know what I'm saying? They said this was the biggest game, but guess what? Next week gonna be the biggest game.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? That's what we do, man. We gonna take over the SWAC.
They asked for it.
Ain't nothing new.
Go to Twitter with that.
And while the internet's got their jokes off last week about Coach Maynard talking about Coach Prime Scooter, he showed that in the SWAC, turnabout is always fair play, as DION Sanders left an autographed pink scooter at midfield for Coach Maynard. And as usual, Coach Prime told it like he felt it during postgame, as he and Jackson State continue to quiet the haters almost every time they take the field.
Coach, final score 61-15.
At all? We wanted to make sure every light on the scoreboard works.
Okay, let's get back to that defense. Deion Sanders liked what he saw, but he said they left even more sacks on the field against Alabama A&M.
My God. I mean, I think we broke a sack record. Yeah, program record, 10 sacks, and we missed 5. We missed 5 sacks. Phenomenal outpouring of that passion, that hunger to get to the quarterback, but we missed 5 sacks. Everything in that game, I think a lot of things were positive, but I had to point out our goal was to win each play, to dominate each play, to dominate each series, to win each quarter, and consequently the half, then the game. We lost the last quarter, and I was not happy about that. We were outscored, I think, 7-6.
T.C. Taylor, the Jackson State legend himself, he was a big-time wide receiver there. He's a holdover from the previous staff with Coach Hendricks. And look, whenever you have a holdover from a previous staff, you know there's something special about that person. And we saw how special T.C. Taylor was last week calling the plays. He saw some things he wanted to do differently, and they panned out.
Just the energy level and, just the fun factor. When guys are out there having fun and they kind of, playing together and believing the guy next to them, that's half the battle. So, I said, shoot, let's meet together as a unit a couple times so you can know what the guy's thinking. Receivers, you need to know what the O-line is thinking. Quarterbacks, you need to know what the center is thinking, just getting that kind of things like that, little tweaks like that. And then, we talked about the tempo. We thought we could kind of move and slow at times. And when guys saw how fast we can line up, I thought it kind of helped the run game. It was like pulling teeth to get them to moving fast. But once they seen the results and the production and what we could do by playing with some tempo, it was good for us.
Okay, Alabama State practices as well. Okay, they show up every day. They put on their uniforms. They are going to Jackson State today. They're already there. It's homecoming. We know it's going to be bananas, the first homecoming of the Coach Prime era. But they still, y'all, expect to go out there, compete, and win the game.
The first thing we got to do is, we had too many penalties this week. I think we had 15 penalties for 171. Just wasn't our character. We, late hits and stuff after the play, stuff that we'll address with that whistle tomorrow in practice. But the key to it is still having our guys, ready to go and letting them understand we're going in as their homecoming, and everybody plays up. So we can't get into that, into the stuff that goes on at their homecoming. We have a 60-minute game to play, and we'll do everything this week to have our guys ready to go.
Okay, can we just go back to last weekend for a second? I know it's old news at this point, ad nauseum, but we kind of buried what would have been the lead a couple of years ago. Ric Flair was at the game, the Nature Boy, the 8 million gazillion times world champion. Look, as a kid, Raleigh, North Carolina, every Wednesday night, Dorton Arena, school night, I'm supposed to be in bed. Me and my pops out checking out Ric Flair, doing the same routine every week. He's going to run in, flip over, and run down the apron and get clothesline. And he's about to die and he's bleeding. Then he puts the figure 4 on you, lights out, right? Feel like a kid every time I see Ric Flair. So did Coach Connell Maynor. He didn't like the outcome of the game, but man, he got to spend some QT with one of his idols, the Nature Boy. Woo!
Yes, indeed. He was in my office. I did it, and I kept going on. I kept adding stuff, and he would go woo, and I would say something else, and he would go woo, and then I would say something else. So I finally finished, and we did the woo at the same time. So, Nature Boy is pretty old. I think he's like 72 years old. So he might have forgot a couple of lines himself.
Okay, that was a great moment. I'm not 12 years old again. Let's come back to real time. I'm 47. God, I'm getting old, boy. All right, this week in the SIAC is back. Last weekend, we had, a game they've been playing forever and a day, longer than Ric Flair's been wrestling. The Morehouse Tuskegee Classic. But this year, a little new twist, if you will. Under the lights, New City in Birmingham. James Verrett, Tyrone Poole, the legend himself, on the call. This is how they saw it.
A high snap, and Fernando S. De La Mora has to kick it out of the back of the end zone for a safety, and then it was defense, Darian Pittman with an interception, which leads to a Michael Sims touchdown run to get them on the board. But then Tuskegee would come back and fumble the ball away, recovery by Morehouse, and they would kick a field goal that would be shanked, no good, but then Tuskegee would finally find a way. They find their favorite receiver, Hodges, and then they find one of their tight ends, Alexander Mitchell, for his first touchdown of the season. A long field goal by S. Delamora for the second time. Yes, it's good. Second half, it was right there. Big plays by special teams and defense on both sides of the ball. But then it was a big boink right off the head, recovery by Morehouse, and then that ground game would take over, Tyrone.
Yeah, ground game takes over. Again, you see Tuskegee able to throw the ball deep, try to get themselves back in the game. Right here, Tuskegee happy, comes back, didn't quite come up with the 2-point conversion there.
Throwing the long pass would finally come through for Morehouse, and in the back of the end zone, they would find a receiver, and there's the shimmy from the tight end. Defense would play big, get another turnover, and then an easy run by Davis as they walk in.
Well, I tell you what, it was a very sweet victory. I mean, I'll tell you now, we've gone through the university of adversity this year.
Thank you, fellas. All right, Morehouse with their first win of the year. Let's look at today's SIAC schedule. A champion will be crowned in a month. Can you believe it? Where did the season go? But hey, the SIAC is a funny place. You might be looking good to start October, but the end of October can be very different because all you need to do is beat the teams in your division. That starts now, the East. We're going to have a showdown in a couple of weeks, Savannah and Albany State. That's soon, but is there a Cinderella in the mix? We've seen it before. Hey, Fort Valley. And out west, you tell me, the next few weeks are crucial. So it's crucial out west. The story will be in a couple of weeks how the West was won. All right, Albany State on the road today at Benedict, but last weekend it was homecoming, y'all, and they had EWC on the menu. Vaughn Wilson was there.
With HBCU football comes homecoming, the annual rite of passage for black colleges across the nation. This Saturday, it was the Good Life City, Albany, Georgia's turn to celebrate like only HBCUs can. Added in the pageantry was a surprise guest. While the Golden Rams knew they would be facing the Tigers on the gridiron, the EWU Triple Threat Marching Band showed up in pregame, setting up a halftime battle of the bands against the ASU Show Band. As for the game, it was Albany State continuing its romp in the SIAC. Quarterback Deontay Banu spread the ball out to his core of receivers while Cam Ward and Marcus Fulks ate up turf in the ground game. Coach Gabe Gardenia has a team loaded with talent, and homecoming would bring no different an outcome. Toriano Morgan's Tigers put up a fight, but the Golden Ram defense led by Stephen Pierre was just too much for Brian Jenkins' offense. It was homecoming, so alumni, students, and fans all had a good time in the stands. By the start of the fourth quarter, Coach G went to the reserves, including quarterback Jadon Sullivan, taking over for Banu. When it was all said and done, Gardenia and Morgan met at midfield with the Rams at 5-1 and the Tigers at 2-4. Next week, the Golden Rams will travel to Benedict College while Edward Waters will host Kentucky State in Duval.
Allen University, not in the championship mix just yet. They're still just a provisional member in the SIAC, filling each other out. That's how these things legally have to go with the NCAA. But Allen is not a team that's looking to get ready. They are staying ready. So when it's time to make a run, they might just be in the mix. Jasher Cox has been on the job just a few months at Allen University as athletic director, but it's been an accelerated launch. The football team, in its first year of Division II play, is 3-3, including a last-minute stunner against Livingstone.
Credit President McNeely, first and foremost. He's had a vision from day one since he arrived. at Allen University. Made a solid hire with Teddy Keaton, who's also known with building programs from ground up. They've done a fabulous job building this coaching staff and building this program, and it only gets better from here.
It's a dog-eat-dog world when it comes to revenue in college athletics, but Cox has a steady course he intends to take.
We're in the heart of Columbia, South Carolina. And, we've got a big dog right there in the city that's just a couple of miles from us from the University of South Carolina. Everybody wants to generate revenue, right? But before you can get to that point, you can't be always hungry to be revenue driven. You got to be community driven. So the first thing we want people to know is that we welcome you to Allen University. We want you to see what we're trying to build. We want you to not just check out a football game at Allen University, but we want you to see men's and women's basketball. We want you to see women's soccer, which is a startup program. We want you to see our softball programs and other Olympic sports. So first and foremost, we just want you to come visit our campus. It is a hidden gem.
Head coach Teddy Keaton has built up programs in the past at stops like Stillman. Now in his third year of building Allen up from the ashes with a team of mostly true and redshirt freshmen, he knows one thing remains the same no matter where you are.
It takes discipline. It's going to take some determination. You know you're going to take some lumps, but you got to teach them and hold them together even when those lumps come along, and tell them that keep carrying the water till it turns to wine. At some point in time, it's going to come together. The hardest part is when you're losing, is being able to keep their minds in a place you want to keep them in, that they got to understand we keep the main thing the main thing. Every time we lose, it ain't always a loss, and every time we win, it ain't always a win. We just got to find what's good in every situation and build upon that.
This past Saturday, it was a 21-12 loss at Clark Atlanta, but it was easy to see the Allen offense is fast and exciting, but they literally don't have a kicker, like not at all. So going for it is a way of life, and maybe not as bad as you think.
We left plays on the field. I can't worry about that we didn't have a kicker. I know that's a part of football, but right now I don't have one, so I just kept doing what we're doing, and we've managed to win some ball games without it. We just have to game plan a little bit more, and we have to execute at a high level. Actually, I'm kind of liking it because it's making the kids have to focus a little bit more and give you an extra opportunity with the ball, really.
Very talented team. I tell you, the quarterback that they got there, we knew if we had to keep him corralled, keep him in the pocket. Anytime he gets outside the pocket and he's able to throw that ball, it's going to be on the dime. I mean, he is very talented. I think he's leading the league right now in throwing and topping the offense, I believe, as well. So he's a very good talent. He's young. I think he's going to be a really good player for him. He's been good for him on film, and so we knew if we could just corral him a little bit, it'd give us a chance.
Allen's move to the SIAC is currently in the provisional stage, but everyone recognizes the significance it has moving up from the NAIA.
It's very important. It's important for recruitment, for brand, the whole nine. I think we welcome the opportunity. The competition brings people to our games, the whole nine. It brings out media coverage for our kids. It's been an exciting thing. We've been on ESPN as a young group. We get a lot of coverage, a lot of write-ups. That is what we want, and that's what you brand your programs, and it eventually help you with recruitment.
And Allen isn't just a swarm of Yellow Jackets on the field. Their entire caravan is a vibe. The Band of Gold travels with the team, and they are a force to be dealt with in the stands and at halftime.
The Band of Gold is legit. And so when you see Allen University football on the road, you're going to see the Allen University Band of Gold. We're a production, and our fans follow us. They're faithful. We couldn't ask for a better scenario, that's for sure. Who doesn't love football, right? So they're thrilled to have it. And we've given them something to cheer about.
When Allen comes to your city, be ready for some smooth grooves and one hell of a dogfight. In Atlanta, Tolly Carr, HBCU Game Day. Okay, the rest of the Division I schedule today: North Carolina A&T on the road at number 17 Kennesaw, Hampton and Charleston Southern getting together, and Tennessee State back at home after a bye week, taking on Tennessee Tech. We'll have much more on the Aggies today. I'll be in Kennesaw, just a rock, throw, skip, and a jump, however that thing goes, from Atlanta. So an easy drive over there, and it's hoodie weather. Oh, it's getting a little chilly out there. We'll be in the 60s today for kickoff. Coach Sam Washington knows that running attack at Kennesaw, something you're not going to see every week. Tough game ahead, but the Aggies really, really need a win. Number 17, Kennesaw, up today.
Well, with all triple, I think you have to stop the dive and the quarterback first. Those are the two that make everything go. If you find a way to stop the two of those and force them to pitch, I think it gives you a better chance to defend.
That means you spend this week focusing on covering that basic thing as well as everything else.
Absolutely. It's going to be very important that we defend the cut block too. They're very good at it. They cut inside and on the perimeter. So we're going to have to do a very good job getting to our spots, using our hands and stand on our feet.
Okay, let's move on to the CIAA. We told you last week that the move for the CIAA championship, those two games, was going to be a real thing. Bowie State, Chowan. Bowie State handled business. They're on the fast track to a championship. Fayetteville State and Shaw. Fayetteville State had some troubles. They came out in the end, so not a done deal. But it's kind of starting to feel like deja vu all over again. We might see Bowie State, Fayetteville State in the CIAA championship. They both control their own destiny. All right, let's look at today's matchups as we go on the road with Elizabeth City to Lincoln, PA. Can Virginia Union find Chowan on the ropes, feeling down a little bit after not being able to beat Bowie? Can Virginia State find Bowie State with their bellies full? St. Augustine, WSSU, Shaw at Livingstone. Johnson sees Smith, the homecoming opponent for Fayetteville State. Not a lot happening in the MEAC today, just two games on the schedule. A couple teams with byes there trying to heal up. South Carolina State is hosting Morgan State, and Norfolk State should do well, taking on the University of Virginia at Lynchburg, UVL, Virginia Lynchburg. We kind of call them a few different things, but they are the road warriors, man. If you need a homecoming opponent, they come and they'll give you a fight. But we expect Norfolk to win today. But let's go back to South Carolina State real quickly. A lot of famous Bulldog alums will be there this weekend. There's a lot going on in Orangeburg. Our Lute Williams is there.
It's a big day in Orangeburg, South Carolina today. Not only is it homecoming for the South Carolina State Bulldogs, as they will take on Morgan State today at 3:30 p.m., but also today they honored one of their own, Pro Football Hall of Famer Donnie Shell, in an early morning brunch. Later today, the MEAC will premiere its pregame show, Countdown to Kickoff with Charlie Neal. Big day in Orangeburg, the game coming up at 3:30, but big events before that. Back to you, Tyler.
And we'll have more from Lute tonight, and everyone at HBCUGameday.com. Don't forget to stay with us all Saturday long for scores, videos, photos. We're doing that TikTok thing. Look, if it's happening in the HBCU world today, there's only one place that you need to be if you're not at the game. And even if you're at the game, you can have the second screen experience, right? HBCUGameday.com is the destination, folks. Make sure that you meet us there throughout the day. It's going to be a big Saturday. Some people are going to say bye-bye to a championship this year, start thinking about next season. Some people are going to feel like we might take it all. That's the beauty of college football in October. All right, it's been HBCU Game Day Saturday. It has been HBCU Game Day Saturday. I'm Tolly Carr in Atlanta. I have the scores for you tonight and much more on the Aggies and Kennesaw State. Until then, talk to you guys later. Enjoy that Saturday.